I have a senior level class, and a lot of them said they haven't written a paper since high school. With the help of things like the University Writing Center, I have a better rubric for my longer assignments. A lot of times the better writers aren't the better test takers, and so it's a good way for them to show their capabilities. I try to make it clear to them that they're going to go into business environments or forecast environments where they're going to have to be doing this all the time, that this is one of the skills that are required by employers.
Howdy, I'm Mandy, and welcome to Write Away, the faculty podcast of the Texas A&M University Writing Center, bringing you news, tips, and ideas for making your students better, more innovative writers. Today we're talking to Dr. Courtney Schumacher, assistant professor in the meteorology department here at Texas A&M. Dr. Schumacher received her PhD in atmospheric sciences from the University of Washington, and this is her 5th year teaching at A&M. Dr. Schumacher teaches a writing intensive course in atmospheric sciences. She began by talking about why she applied for writing intensive status for this course.
I teach a senior level Tropical Meteorology class, and I've been teaching that 4 years, 2 years as a W course. It was basically already a W course as it was. I feel that writing is an important part of the learning process, and so it was very easy to convert it, actually.
Next, she gave some advice for professors who are new to teaching a W course.
I would definitely start with materials and class structure that you are comfortable with, and then build slowly upon that. Don't start out and try to do all the new techniques. Build slowly. I also would talk to my colleagues, keep my eye on the UWC newsletters, just for other ideas to kind of incorporate into my class when I felt like it was a good opportunity.
Next, she discussed the workload associated with teaching a W course.
I think it does take a little bit more time. I try to give extensive feedback on some of the written materials, but with the help of things like the University Writing Center, I have a better rubric for my longer assignments, and so you can make yourself more efficient.
Dr. Schumacher also talked about the ways she organizes and runs her W course.
I have a very clear syllabus on when the bigger projects are due, or the components of the bigger projects. And so a timeline is always helpful to me and the students both. I also try to do things in pretty manageable chunks, so I don't try to do, a whole day of writing intensive activities. I'll do bits and pieces, try to integrate it into the class so it feels a little bit more natural. That makes it a little easier.
She also discussed the differences between writing in a science-related field versus other fields.
It's interesting. I have a senior level class, and a lot of them said they haven't written a paper since high school. And so they're kind of intimidated by the idea of a W course. And so I think just the issues of not having written a lot throughout their years in college, they're mostly doing problem sets and things like physics and chemistry. Then also there's the aspects of maybe more technical writing. So you have to do, for instance, meteorologists have to write weather forecasts. So those have a very unique way of writing. We do a paper that has a journal-like format, and so they have to learn about proper referencing and the way you paraphrase and all the terminology that comes along with science-specific field.
Next, she talked about how she provides feedback to her students.
On the more extensive assignments, I give them a lot of written feedback, and so that's where the time comes in. But I think they appreciate that. They know they need to incorporate it in the next draft, or that I'll be paying attention to the next assignment. But we also discuss things in class, so if I see that students have a common error or something interesting is coming out of the writing, we'll have a discussion about it. So I think both heavy written feedback on my part, but also class discussion. I do like to make sure the students are very clear of why they're doing the writing assignment and why I'm giving the type of feedback I am, not just you did this well or not, just why are they doing something. So maybe getting at, not just the mechanisms, but kind of the reason, the overall reason of why writing is important to the learning process.
She also talked about the reactions of students to writing in the professional world and how she prepares them for it.
I try to make it clear to them that they're going to go into business environments or forecast environments where they're going to have to be doing this all the time, that this is one of the skills that are required by employers. And that hits home a little bit. These are seniors. They're going to start looking for jobs soon. So that helps. But it hasn't been a priority in their college years. And so you have to kind of slowly wean them into the process of, this is okay, you can do this, and this will be important later on. These are skills that will make you a more successful scientist or forecaster or business person or teacher. I have students that, for instance, I have my students do forecast discussions, and some of them go on and forecast for tropical meteorology regions, and they say that was valuable. I also have students that go on to grad school and are writing their first proposals and papers and things at the graduate school level, and they're like, yeah, that really helped. I know about the web of science, and I know how to reference, and So I've heard back from some, and they thought that was useful.
Next, she discussed her low-stakes writing assignments and the benefits of using these kinds of assignments.
My favorite is the minute paper. I do probably one a week, and I'll just ask them a question and give them more than a minute, probably 3 minutes or something to write on it. It's actually been a lot of fun. Sometimes the students grumble about it, but a lot of times a good discussion comes out of it. So I'll ask a controversial question about global warming and hurricanes, or should we privatize the weather service, or something like that. Or I'll show them a visual and I'll have them describe it to me on the minute paper. And then I'll collect them. They're low stakes, so I'm totally ungraded. I'll read through them and then we'll go over them, either talk about them right then and there or go over them in the next class after I can read through what the students have written. And a lot of them, it's fun. A lot of them get ideas for I have them do a large research project in the course, and they have to create the topic from their own interest. And a lot of them are prompted by the topics that we talk about with the minute papers. And so it gives them good ideas about what kind of research projects to do. But I've been very happy with the minute papers. Some of my more favorite questions are when it's more inquiry-based, like when I show an example of something physical that they have to describe to me. Instead of me being on the board saying, this is how rain is formed, they can figure that out. I'll give them some kind of visual and they have to figure it out themselves. So that inquiry-based learning is kind of a neat component of this format, this minute paper. And again, it's low stakes, so they don't have to get it right, but they tried the inquiry process.
Next, we asked Dr. Schumacher if she has seen an improvement in her students' writing because of the low-stakes writing assignments.
I feel that to be a good writer, you have to read a lot, you have to practice writing a lot. I think it's longer than what one semester can do. So I wouldn't, other professors that are teaching W courses, I hope they don't feel like if they're new to it, they should see results. But, I get good feedback from the students like, oh, that was useful. Either I'm reminding them of grammatical rules or stylistic techniques, or they're learning them for the first time. But, I think it helps their process.
Next, we asked Dr. Schumacher if writing improves student learning.
I think so. I think it makes them think about the material in a different way instead of just a problem set format or a lecture format or, discussion. Those are all good ways of getting information across and showing that these students are learning. But I think writing is yet another way. And I find actually some students, a lot of times the better writers aren't the better test takers. And so it's a good way for them to show their capabilities in other ways. It's just a good part of the course to have for their learning and to show that they're capable of things that they might not be as good at other things, I suppose.
For more information about the topics discussed in this podcast, please visit our website at www.writingcenter.tamu.edu. Thank you for joining us for Right Away. Right Away is a production of the University Writing Center at Texas A&M. This podcast serves the mission of the Writing Center by providing a resource to help literacy and written communication skills at Texas A&M University. We'd like to thank Dr. Schumacher for her time today and for her dedication to writing instruction at Texas A&M. I'm your host, Mandy Crawford, hoping you'll join us next time and reminding you, when you get the chance, write away.